Hey guys, one of the videos that I haven't gone over yet is connecting these bases together and building the tunnel system for those. It doesn't have to be a tunnel system; it can be a suspended system, and this particular line is going to be a little bit of both. It's going to go through a mountain, which is a tunnel system, and it's also going to be suspended. This is the mini base here, and over in that direction is the base. I'll show that in just a second. What I like to do when it comes to laying these lines out is to first get the line right. What I like to do is I don't like to have a bunch of bends and in my lines. I like to have just one bend if at all possible. It doesn't always work out like that, but anyway, that's what I like to go with. So in starting to lay this line out here, I've laid this torch down to sort of orientate myself to see if this line here over to my base is going to work. And as you can see where the cursor's at, I put a torch on the other side. And I've gone over there to see if this is going to work out. And I don't think it's going to work. I've looked at this particular line there coming out of the base, and I think I like this line better. So as a compromise, I'm going to go over here and see if this line is going to work. Over here. And checking this out, what I'm probably going to have to do is put two bends in this line. This particular area here, connecting that base over to this mountain down in here, is probably going to have to be suspended. And I haven't really decided yet if I want it to bend over here and connect to this line and then go into the base, or just continue on with that line there. But what I wanted to cover right now is laying the lines out and coming up with something that you think is going to work. When it comes to orientate yourself over large valleys like this one is here, what I've found is the best way to do is to stand in the middle of one of these blocks, and if you get this right, if you set your cursor in a particular area and you start walking that line, as long as your cursor doesn't deviate away from that block as you walk, say 10 or 12 blocks, then your cursor is straight, and that way you know when you look across a valley, as you can see that torch there, since I haven't moved my mouse, that torch is pretty close. In fact, it's on the right side of that block there, but that's the line. So that's how you orientate yourself over large valleys. So anyway, this will be the sort of like the X and Y axis, and the Z axis will be elevation, and how to orientate yourself. And I'll go over the elevation part here in just a little bit. But I wanted to show how I sort of orientate myself when it comes to laying these out, laying them out with torches first. I find that to be the most productive way of spending your time, and that way you don't spend a lot of time digging a line that's not going to work. So I'm going to pick this back up in just a second as soon as I decide a line, and we'll go from there. Just one second. Alright, back in the base. This floor is going to be the sort of like the transit floor. It's going to have all the switching and boosters and stuff like that. The booster will be in the wall there. It was more important to get this line right going out of the base than it was, say, coming from the mini base. So that's why I decided to go with this line over the other. I'm going to pick it back up on the other side there so we can talk about elevation a little bit. But this is X and Y axis. This is the line I decided to go with. So just one second. Alright, picking back up. So that was the X and Y axis. The Z axis is these three torches represent 20 blocks above the line coming out of the base. And the only way I found to do that is just to count blocks. I really don't like to count blocks, so I use that as a last resort. But in this particular case, I don't know of a better way of judging elevation. X and Y axis, I showed the tips about orientating your mouse and walking in straight lines. Yeah, but you can't really do that with elevation. So if that's 20 blocks, this is going to be 15. I'll put these in 5 block increments. That's going to be 10, that's going to be 5, and that's going to be the elevation coming out of the base. And with this elevation, this is going to be pretty good. The booster room is right there. So the booster will come out of here in some sort of suspended system, and tying in, I haven't figured that out yet, but I was just worrying about elevation here and seeing if everything is going to marry up okay, and it seems like it's going to work out okay. So as soon as I figure out where I want to come out of this mountain, I'll pick this back up and we'll go from there. So just one second. Alright, picking back up. What I decided to do was, instead of coming out into this direction out of the booster room, which is in there, was to just dig out over in this area and just come through here and into this mountain here, and tie into, this is the turn here, and then tie into that line, and that would keep this section as straight as possible. So that was the goal, as well as to keep as much as possible inside of a tunnel system. I don't like to have a lot of it suspended. You know, it's personal preference, but I don't like to have a lot of it suspended. I just think that looks kind of tacky. This particular area, as well as the other one over there, will all be encased in glass, and I'm not going to really cover that here too much. I've got a transit system video on how to build transit systems underwater. It's the same design, and I'll post a link to that. But that's pretty much it. The change in elevation between the base and the suspended line over there and this line here was 3 blocks. So it was pretty close. So it turned out pretty good. The main thing I like to emphasize is this laying out a lot of your lines and torches first to make sure everything works, so you avoid mindless digging. Anyway, if you got any questions, comments, concerns, just go ahead and leave me a comment, and I'll see if I can help you guys out. Anyway, take care, guys.